Oak Ridge, Arrington, the Jester. Pretty freaking wild. I thought we were done with the snow, but I guess not. See you on the start line.
Welcome to Oak Ridge, home of the Joe Lloyd Memorial and the Aprilfools Run, and in 2018, the Dragons Back Enduro.
Alright everybody, welcome to the Jester race. This video is a video I commentate on how horribly I ride. We arrived Saturday and it was snowing its tail off, and man, we got lucky. We woke up Sunday morning and it was we probably had a very, very small dusting, if that, maybe a thin sheet of ice, and it melted before we got to the start line here, so no ice and snow on the track, thankfully. Believe it or not, the track conditions were actually perfect. The dirt was nice and sticky, no dust, it wasn't really muddy at all, so that was fantastic. I've got to tell you guys, this is the very best track I have ever ridden. This is the very best trail I've ever ridden. Some of the parts in this place look like a freaking golf course in the woods. It is just so beautiful, so amazing. So this is definitely my favorite thus far. I know it's only round 2, but man, I gotta tell you, just absolutely stunning. Alright, so my previous race, I actually had the flu, and I was actually kind of really bummed that I couldn't actually give this thing my all. So this race, I came in there and I gave it my all, and I gotta tell you, this is my best one yet, so you guys are gonna enjoy this. No, I didn't set any freaking records, I'm not first place, but I did really well, and very happy with the results. So at any rate, my mindset going into this one was just get it done. Get out there and get it done. Yeah, so that's what I did. Also, before I forget, I did manage to get this entire race on GoPro from start to finish. So if completely 100% raw, no cuts at all is your thing, I'm going to put a link to the video in the right-hand corner up there, and as well as a description. So let's get this thing going. We're on the 10-second warning here. Alright, so we come out the whole shot there, and I ended up about 12th place or so out of 18, which isn't too terrible. I'm kind of conservative on the whole shots, still, being that, you know, I'm still kind of getting used to this thing. So we get on here, it's about a half mile stretch through the field. I ended up going into the first wooded section, probably about 14th. And almost immediately, I took the left line instead of taking the right line here, and 10 West Moto passed me up right here. If you guys want to check out his channel, I'll leave a link in the description. I'm sure he would appreciate a good check out and sub. So yeah, after realizing he had just passed me, I was like, oh heck no. So I kind of got into it a little bit and kind of surprised myself at the beginning of the single track here. Looking pretty smooth actually for somebody of my skill level. Buying you a thrill at the Peaberry Hill. This thing was pretty cool actually. There was a couple of routes there that were kind of questionable, and it was kind of tricky to keep that bike up and keep going, but managed to do it. Come down to this massive drop in, and we had walked the course the day before, and this thing is super, like, you can't really even walk down it without sliding down the freaking hill, and of course GoPro never does any justice. It managed that alright. I kind of dropped the clutch there a little bit, lose a couple places through this section here, and we go up to the go up on the other end of this hill, and I was kind of worried about this the day before because I was worried about a lot of traffic getting stuck. This part wasn't too bad, but we did have a traffic jam coming up here that was quite interesting actually. Come into this beautiful, like, pine wooded single track section. Man, I tell you, this is what I'm saying. It's like a golf course. So at any rate, I was kind of flowing. I was pretty slow through here, to be honest with you, and I heard somebody coming up behind me, so I was like, okay, well, I'll let them around me. I'm trying to learn to keep going, but let them pass at the same time, and unfortunately, I didn't realize there was 3 people behind me, and I apologize for getting in your way, dude. But this is part of racing right here. You have to be willing to rub handlebars a little bit, and you know, you don't want to intentionally wreck or hurt somebody, but it happens. It happens very frequently, and like I said, this is just part of racing. Alright, so here's that traffic jam on a hill. This thing was kind of slippery. There were some rocks and you know, the ground was still wet from the previous day, so there were some rocks, and you know, I could definitely see why somebody had some troubles, because even crawling through the pack here, I had some problems. But we come up right behind Bonesaw Moto. He had passed me, and I tried to trail him, and we come up right behind him. So he ends up making a right hand right here, and I decided I'm going to go up around him. I'm going to try to pass him. I want him behind me. So, you know, just a little friendly competition. So anyways, I crawl up this hill, almost fall up, well, I fell off the bike, managed to keep it upright, get through this pack, get up this hill, and again, special mentions goes to 10 West Moto. Go check out his channel. He had gotten up this hill, gotten off his bike, and helped probably 10 people. I was feeling pretty confident right there, and then disaster struck. God.
I'm good, appreciate it.
Thank you, by the way, for checking on me. So I get the bike up, get over to the side, let everybody pass. A bunch of people passed me back up. Lost most of the places I just gained. I seen Bonesaw Moto. I'm like, darn it, I need to get going. So that's what we do. We get going again.
There goes Bonesaw. That's what it was. Rear brake is out of adjustment. Way out of adjustment. That must have just happened. Maybe I was dragging it.
Now we came up to the, what is this, second creek crossing. You know, it's got kind of a rocky bottom. We'll kind of make it across, you know, not too bad. A little bit of beans. We're at mile marker 5 here. About another mile in, we come into this beautiful wooded section here. These pine trees, these single trek through these wooded, it's just absolutely stunning. You just have to be there. This video doesn't know justice at all. Beautiful. So this is right here where I start to realize my endurance limitations.
Getting very sloppy. Well, what, mile marker 6 or so on the first lap. I cannot keep up that front runner pace. It's not possible. I am out of shape. So I think the rest of the race I'm just gonna go at this speed, and we're gonna have to see where I place, because going fast earlier in the video, well, faster than I normally would, it wears you out quick, super quick. I do it.
You know, I don't know what it is with me and trees and this GoPro.
At least it didn't break this time.
So we come up to this third creek crossing here, and it actually has this bridge. Man, I'll tell you, this was a really neat track feature. On the second lap, I actually kind of flowed a little bit better. I'm kind of really wore out for energy right now. Here we are, probably about mile marker 8 or 9. We're going through this nice flowy wooded section over another little bridge here, and this hill here, there's a lot of roots that the GoPro didn't pick up. It was actually pretty challenging to keep it up right, being as low as energy as I was at this point. So I managed to get through that. Keep an eye on this guy here. I let him pass. We go through this open section here, and I actually kind of trail him. He gets a little bit ahead of me, but I actually kind of trail him and another guy in the second lap. The second lap was fantastic, actually. So here we are coming through, scoring on the first lap, and I look on the scoreboard and it says I'm 17th. And at this point, I'm kind of a little upset at myself, because I had counted only 17 people on our lineup. It was actually 18, but I counted 17, so I was second to last coming in to my first lap. So I was like, all right, I gotta get going here. We gotta do something this lap. So second lap actually gets pretty interesting. I had actually caught that guy up that I'd let pass, and this is where we come into the wooded section again. And you notice I took the left line again, but I actually managed to squeeze through the trees a little bit quicker this time, so I was happy with that. I really started to get into the groove. For some reason, my energy levels were coming back up, probably like to equivalent of the start of the race. So we hit this these beautiful single tracks, and I'm following along, and you know, I'm really starting to kind of get into the groove a little bit. Starting to kind of learn from some mistakes, and you know, kind of be a little bit more comfortable on the bike in between the trees, a little bit, not much, but for me, you can see here, I'm actually not doing terrible through here. It's actually kind of decent.
Nice pass. Very nice pass. That was clean. One day I hope to be able to pass like that. Good job, dude, wherever you are. Oh, I hate these. See, every time. I still got enough energy in me to do the little clutch slip and catch up to the pan. That's good. It means I'm doing okay on energy. You need water. My hydration pack, the hose, I don't know where the heck the hose went. I'd have to stop and look for it. But I don't want to stop. To tell you the truth, following these two are setting a good pace for me. So it's nice to follow somebody. Oh, roots, man. These roots are so slick.
You know, it may look like I was catching them up, but it took a lot. It took a lot to keep up with that pace through those trees. We came into this open section here, and it was beautiful. I let this dude pass me here. And I think he was on his third lap. And we head up this hill here. I was kind of impressed at the speed I carried up this hill, but that speed quickly dissipated. We got into some roots and stuff like that, and yeah, I got more work to do on that. So that guy's actually making his way through the lineup that I was following. This guy gets a little sloppy here. I mean, I don't blame him. I'm sloppy too. I mean, the amount of endurance you need for these races, it's unreal. So we come around here, and there's actually some rocks embedded into the ground, and it's really throwing me off. You know, if I was fresh, I could tackle these no problem, but you know, second lap, I've done 16 miles so far, and it was tough. Especially this rock section right here. It really took a lot for me to keep the bike under control. So it seems like I need to work on rocks and yeah, definitely need to work on rocks, and I also need to work on trees. So I actually make 2 passes through here, and I believe that's where I didn't see the number on the bike, but I believe that's actually 2 people in my class. So I think this is where I made up some of the ground. Crawling through these rocky little single track sections here, I mean, it takes a toll on you. Come out to this beautiful open section near this little creek river thing. I'm not sure entirely what it is, and get kind of on the gas a little bit, tad bit, and you know, it's interesting to note, if I was fresh, I could really be hauling tail through here, but you know, after many miles, it doesn't work out. Here's this bridge again. Sweet, nice little flow. Yeah, definitely flowing a little bit better. Here's where things got interesting. These guys were on their 3rd lap. These guys were actually pole position in their class, and they were on their 3rd lap, and they passed me, and I tried to keep up with them a little bit. We went immediately into this piney wooded single track, passed somebody there to the left. So then I come up to them, and they had just had like a kind of a little pileup, I guess. And I mean, if you see how close these trees are, when you're flying through the woods like that, that happens so easily and so quickly. So I passed 2 of them back, and eventually they did pass me back again. Right here is interesting. I had another throttling issue.
Very good.
I think what happened was a little dirt got stuck on the slide. And I had thought maybe while I was on the track that was, it means I was running out of gas, because you know how two-strokes rev up when they run out of gas because they're going lean. Turns out it wasn't that. It was definitely dirt on the slide that got stuck a little bit. So we came out to this open straight section, and I knew that the race was pretty much over, so I was like, you know what, I'm going to give it some go. So I just opened it wide open and let her eat through the straight, and I caught him right back up. I made a pass right there, came into these woods, and I was following this 4-stroke. I actually eventually passed him back through too. This is like the last half a mile in the race. At this point I had done 19 and a half miles, and I was ready to be done. So we come through here, this last little bit of single track through the trees, and these kids were hollering at me.
Tree! Thank you!
Thank you, appreciate it. Hitting trees is never fun. I appreciate the heads up. Here we go. We come through the scoreboard. Checkered flag.
14. Whoa!
14th, a new record. So, 18 people total in my class. First lap I came in at 17th. I was second to last, and I gained 3 places. You guys know that watching some of my videos, I'm not a professional rider. This is amateur racing, and I'm just glad to be able to get out and be a part of it. So this, you know, being able to come in, finish this race, and not last, that's awesome to me. I'm super stoked about that. I look forward to round 3, CVTR. So round 3 is coming up in a couple of weeks. I will leave everybody's lap times and scores up on the screen as usual. Again, if you wanted to watch this race 100% start to finish, no cut, there is a lot I left out of this video, so if you want to see that, check out the raw version of it. It's long, it's raw, there's barely any talking, but it's good stuff. Remember, you gotta check out Bonesaw Moto, 10 West Moto, and The Crow. So check them out, and I will see you at round 3, CVTR.